Hey, hi again. Time to play some more Escape. Last time we left off chapter 2, now we're on to chapter 3, description. So, last time it ended kind of abrupt. Let's see what Rain's up to right now. Eastern Forest Path. The woods to the east of the clearing are lightened by the gentle rays of sun that filter down through the thin canopy of leaves. Countless travelers have flattened a wide lane of leaves, bark, and dirt that wind through a dense collection of skeletal trees. Scant chatter of birds floats overhead. It is barely visible, but a small cottage can be seen through the foliage. No obvious path leads there, but as you turn your gaze toward it, the trees seem to bend away in anticipation. So, a gentle breeze wafts against your ear. You believe to hear Ozymandias utter the following words. Rain, if you'd be a deer, I'd like to speak with you about something. You frown and contemplate the awkward collection of bending trees. You pace for a moment before deciding to head in their direction. I wonder if it's got to do with anything last time. Oh? You leave toward Ozymandias' home. The interior of this otherwise humble cottage defies your expectations the moment you step inside. The carved wood aesthetic permeates the interior, seeming to be at least thrice the size of its exterior conveys. Comfortable chairs line in a cozy living room, and various furs cover the floor. A roaring fire blazes in an enormous hearth. Along the walls, books of all colors and sizes sit upon endless rows of shelves. Ozzy is there. Ozymandias sits calmly before the hearth, unconsciously shuffling his cards again and again. It is a deliberate rhythm, a meditation. His eyes are firmly affixed to the flames, watching them flicker as the crackling of the fire syncopates with the card's trill. You carefully step inside, holding the door with one hand. You arch a brow at the grand interior, looking to the man seated near the fire. Description. Ozymandias logged in for 52 hours. The robed individual before you has many faces and many names. For now, he is a goateed gentleman simply named Ozymandias. He claims no lineage to the people of Verda, nor does he seem to be of this world at all. He flickers indeterminately when looked upon, as if his hold on reality may fade at any moment. His irises are at times a pure white, but when a fully solid apparition, a gentle blue leaks in from the sides. The gentleman's hair is not just black, but a void altogether alien to the space around it. The glistening of stars can be seen if the head is tilted just so. Not a sheen, no, but the stars themselves, winking out from beyond the veil of eternity. He meets your gaze, and at once you feel at peace. Robe of the Eternal, deck of cards. You say, you called to me from outside. How the hell did you manage that? Are we still RPing there? Does he not have any legitimate concern about the fucking navigator, if that even happened here? If that even happened to them? Ozymandias turns, an even expression upon his face. He takes the deck in one hand, patting a face-up card on his side table with the other. Luck of the cards, he says, inviting Rain over to take a look. You slowly approach, reaching out with a hand toward the card Oz has called out. The card contains a number 6 and the illustration of a cupped ear as if listening intently. So that's not even a normal card. You smirk. A spell card, I take it? I'm so concerned about what's happening in real life, not the role-playing part. Well, the role-playing is cool, but I'm just so concerned about what the navigator said. Ozymandias laughs, very intuitive, especially for an individual native to this world. Or are you? He gestures toward a second seat before the hearth. Please, take a seat. You sit, legs crossed. You sneak a glance toward the deck of cards Ozymandias holds, then flit your eyes back towards the fireplace. Ozymandias smiles, fanning out the cards before him. Curious? He asks. You grin. Can I guess first? Ozymandias folds the cards back into a deck, placing them onto the table. He covers them carefully in his palm. You may. You know, I think I have a key I can just skip, but I don't want to skip any dialogue by accident. You shrug. Not too elaborate a guess. You pull a thing out of that deck, turn it into a spell, and everyone gets all impressed. Ozymandias laughs, giving the cards another shuffle. You make it sound so boring. You are, at least, partially correct. My powers are vast, but unpredictable. I cannot simply cast what I will. Like anything of vast power, it must be mitigated by some degree of inhibitor. These cards are mine. I shuffle, I draw from the top, and trust the fates that I have made the correct choice. You say, and the fates chose for you to send a message abroad, and you chose me? Ozymandias shrugs. He takes the card from the table and incorporates it back into the deck. There are not many about that I wish to speak with at this time. Jace dislikes me something fierce, and both Barry and Jan have not been seen since the Mock Beast incident. Oh shit, how long ago is this, huh? He leans back in his chair. You are a mystery, dear. No one knows a thing about you since you arrived. I would at least discover something to fill in that large blank. Desk me. Logged in for 2 hours. Well, I guess. You shrug. What do you see? I mean, literally nothing. Ozymandias frowns. Stand up. Let me take a good look at you. You stand before the hearth. You raise your arms and spin, as if appraising yourself. Ozymandias elucidates. I see a courageous young woman, hardened by a life spent surviving on her own. She has a peculiar pale white hair, falling just short of her eyes. Oh shit, she's got short hair. I appreciate that. Sticking out in bunches in front of her ears. She dresses modestly in a dark gray tunic and oiled leather trousers designed to withstand whatever nature tosses her way. The simplicity of her equipment belies an adept command over the winds. The air itself shimmers at her back, hiding her elemental equipment. She maintains an aloof attitude, one side of her mouth curled and a retort always armed and ready for deployment. But she does care, more than she would like to admit. You nod. You're quite attentive, Oz. You sit back down and stare into the hearth. Hearth? I don't know at this point. I'm too into the story. Ozymandias chuckles. I do have one additional question, if you'll allow it. Why the name Rain? With your command over the winds, it would seem the name ill fits your talents. Oh, are you criticizing my character now? You raise a brow at Oz. It's the name my parents gave me. Silly or not, they didn't know who I'd become. Ozymandias nods. Only who they held in their arms, soft and innocent. Sounds an accurate description, even still. You level your gaze at Oz and stand with a huff. I am neither, not anymore. A nerve seems to have been pinched. You shrug an arm in his direction, sending a powerful gust his way as you stomp towards the door. Ozymandias is shoved from his chair, through the air and into the corner, laughing as he goes, even as he pauses to rub his bruised shoulder. Ouch. E. You leave toward... Boy, this takes some time to load. Oh, nope, we got something going on here. Oh boy, navigator's log. The literal next day. God, he discovers so much in the next day. Attractive readers, I know you like fashion. I like fashion, and I'm a fucking nerd who spends most of the day in an out-of-body experience poking about the dark recesses of other people's thought encryption. Yep, why fashion, you ask? Well, us humans have a bit of an ego thing going on. Mind-at so very frequently becomes a surreal self-insertion fanfic. Oh, just fic. Starring your most fantastical self-image. Well, fashion, in turn, informs your self-image. You may not wear it in real life, but your knowledge of that stuff reflects in how you see yourself. The hell you care about that for, you ask? I mean, I don't know, I don't like this. Oz just described Rain's outfit. I don't like this. I don't like how he knows. Well, I would ask what you're doing in my head asking questions, but let's forget that for now. The simple answer is it makes for way more interesting people watching whilst thumbing through all this mundane minded. Sorry, that was a mess of a sentence. Simple answer is that it makes for way more interesting people watching whilst thumbing through all this mundane minded. Like seriously, last thing I want to see you in is sweats and a tee. Sorry, it's just not interesting, but it's comfy. Flex that imagination. I'd rather see you as a squirrel than literally the most boring version of yourself. Why do I care so much? Well, we'll get to that, don't worry. Back when frames were introduced, well, it's like when cell phones debuted. I'm sure the first nerd that toted around a huge-ass brick thought he was the ultimate badass. Look back now, of course, and you're like, what the hell was he thinking? What the hell was he thinking? Same applied to those clunky head tumors that preceded frames. You'd think someone would have had the foresight to know just what frames would be replacing and design them to be even slightly as stylized and approachable as your common smartphone, right? The idea of wearing a huge-ass visor did not fly at all. Anyway, here's where it gets good. The great irony in the modernization of frames is that we as a culture had just conquered eye deficiencies. Why is this paragraph not like vibrating, but the past paragraph is. The great irony is eye deficiencies. We take a look at the wee little babes and correct that shit before it gets too out of hand. Brilliant, right? Glasses and contacts are a thing of the past, but suddenly, bam, guess what? You want to stay to date with the rampaging tech stampede? Well, how about these stylish glasses to wear? Yeah, the ones you just threw away. The other great irony is that in a nation where more and more individuals were losing their sight from long hours in front of screens, glasses were now required to access the next generation. The eyewear industry is alive and well, jobs intact because of the technology introduced just as they were on the verge of being made irrelevant. Huh. When I'm out and about prepping to browse Mind-at, I'm not exactly what you'd call the most innocuous individual. My personal style is somewhere between fashion's long antiquated steampunk phase and dark Lolita. Oh, and before you fire any synapses in the wrong direction, yes, I am a huge weeb. Oh, Lord, get over it. Oh, I knew it. The real villains were the nerds all along. In any case, whatever. I fancy frills and a good pair of goggles. I'm gonna have a fucking weeb browsing around my Mind-at? I don't like that. So I've got these beefy green green-lensed things on, looking smug as shit in my little corner on the train. Navigator, you say, and I shoot you a glance reminding you about questions in my head, asking questions in my head, but you continue anyway. You were so adamant about that whole sailor suit bullshit earlier. Why tell us what you really look like? Readers, my answer is obvious. What's to say anything I write is the truth? Contemplate the value of a grain of salt before we continue. The value of a grain of salt before we continue. So here's why all this fashion stuff matters. I'm on this train again, same train as yesterday, hoping I can catch a glimpse of Text Kid's bizarre mind-at. Things aren't looking so hot. Plenty of dark-haired individuals, plenty with busy LEDs, but none of them are the kid I'm stalking out. I'm bored, about to call it quits, when I stop looking at the details and look at the direction where these mind-ats are going. With Text Kid, I had paid too much attention to the details and didn't notice the value until it was too late. And then I see her. I see the direction this mind-at's flowing, check it against my own vast memory. Sure as shit, she's a fucking co-worker of the Text Kid. I freak out with a little squeal and glue my eyes to the data. Her mind-at is special. A woman, dark auburn hair spilling over bare shoulders, eyes lowered in contemplation. She sits on top of an infinitely rippling pool of water, not breaching the surface, bare legs pulled close against her bare chest. What? I guess how she looks like in her mind. Chin on knee, she gazes down on a thin band of silver encircling her middle toe. The entirety of her focus is on this toe ring, and so too does it draw my attention. An inscription begins, Testis Unis, the rest hidden in sight. Crossfade from the data, though, green lenses to that woman sitting on the train. That woman with the same auburn hair, the same downturned eyes. The same woman from the mind-at, but clothed. This, friends, is why you must take care to differentiate your self-image from reality. It just makes things awkward for all of us. Navigator out. Alright? Cerebral network. Mind-at, so and so and so. Oh, yep, I can't read that. I can't read that. Wow, mysterious. I'm not really sure where this is going. It's going to ramp up into something, I feel like it is. But yeah, that's that chapter. Alright, see you guys later, I guess.